Constipation is a very painful disease, painful for child and painful for parents. We have seen mothers crying while the child is defecating. So we must also give you the solution to this problem. Myself, Dr. Pankaj Parekh and Dr. Nihar Parekh is going to explain you how to manage a constipation. There are two ways of managing constipation. On one side, there is a medical and surgical treatment where the drugs are given, ointments are given, occasionally operation is done. But more important than that is the food management. To be very precise, I am going to tell you a point-wise management. Number one, reduce milk intake and particularly avoid milk in midnight after first birthday. Number two, give a family type of diet. Like what we eat, a child should be given a food particularly after 1 year of age. Avoid food which is blended in a mixture or made very pasty. Number three is very, very important that you encourage the child to eat green vegetables and fruits. But remember, the more you force, less he will eat. Number four, it is also equally important is not to give excessive maida. Avoid biscuits and white bread. If you want to give bread, which is of course sometimes required, try and give wheat bread. The last but not the least is to increase the liquid intake. All this food management has to be done with the pleasure. It should not be painful. It should not be forceful. Then only you can implement it in a child and continue for a longer period of time. I'll request Dr. Nihar Parekh to explain you medical and the surgical management of constipation.
Thank you, sir. So to understand the treatment of constipation, you have to actually understand what happens in the constipation. It starts with hardening of stools. It starts with the stool at the bottom getting hard, which the child finds difficult and painful to pass. The child passes eventually, which is a rock hard stool, and when it comes out, it tears the skin around the anus. Sometimes it bleeds. There's blood in stools, and there are those micro tears. These are extremely painful. The tears make the child not want to pass stool. The child holds back. The stool keeps accumulating, and the longer the stool stays in the body, the more fluid gets absorbed from it, the harder it gets. And eventually the child gives up. In long-term basis, the intestines also become weak and tired because they have to pass against a tightly closed anus and a hard stool. So it is just a vicious cycle which needs to be stopped. The primary treatment starts with the diet. Like sir very well explained, food that needs to be given and food that needs to be strongly avoided. Treatment of constipation is easy, but it's chronic, takes a while. It needs patience again. Three things. Number one, it starts with softening the stools. There are medications available to soften the stools. Number two, to help the bowel push the hard stools out, which are known as laxatives. Number three, many a times, suppositories are required to make that hard lowest part of the stool come out and make the bowel evacuate. If suppositories don't work, a lot of enemas has to be given. Back-to-back infant suppositories, enemas for every day for a few days, followed by stool softeners, followed by laxatives, with the continuous maintenance of changing in diet and increased fluid intake. It's a chronic process, but if you do it right, it can cure 100%. Even if you don't do any of this, the child is going to get worse. He's going to get cranky, and there are going to be fissures get more and more painful. To numb that area around the anus is also integral part of constipation management. Simple jelly is given so that there's no pain while passing the stool. Even after doing so much, if there is no improvement or there is improvement but it happens again, then like sir rightly mentioned, we have to rule out in elder children the possibility of Hirschsprung's disease. Hirschsprung's disease needs special tests where barium enemas are given to find out which part of the bowels don't have the nerves, and if proven, may require surgery. So it is a stepwise protocol as treatment of constipation starts with diet change, starts with increased fluid intake and softening of stools with numbing the part around the anus.
Tune into our channel Child and You for tips and guidance to raise a healthy child.
Live now, live healthy, only with Sushruta. For any queries, you can write into us on or WhatsApp us on